Hey everybody, welcome back to the Pack of Mikes and Fire. I'm Brian, and I'm joined once again this week by the host of our The Last of Us recap podcast called Worth Fighting For. Tamor, how you doing?
Good, good. I mean, all I can say is long live the queen, first of her
Mm-hmm.
name, queen of the Andals,
Yep.
lady of the seven, protector of the realm. Queen Rhaenyra is finally back on the throne,
Yeah, she's on the
but we'll get.
throne. She got it. I saw someone was like right before we came on, I was scrolling TikTok and they were like, wow, what a great series finale.
Yeah, exactly. Oh,
Unfortunately, no, not the series finale. Still got a lot to go. But anything that stood out to you in this episode that you want to talk about right off the bat? Otherwise, we can just kind of go through it and see how the show flows.
yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, even on that note, I mean, I think if this had been the season finale, it would have been more effective. Let's be real. I think not to jump too far ahead to the ending, but I think at face value, it's a triumph. She's finally back on the throne, and yet that the way that scene plays out, which we'll get into more detail later, it's doesn't feel like a triumph. It's really like this weird. There's a
No.
weird shadow over everything. She doesn't really know quite what to do when she's finally in that role. And I think if the entire season had been leading up to this moment of her walking to the throne, it would have been better. But honestly, I don't have too many complaints because I just think it's so well done in general. The writing is on par. So yeah.
Yeah, I would imagine we talked about it last week how the got kind of ripped off here where they were originally going to have 10 episodes last season at the last second. No, we're doing 8. This definitely felt like the season finale of season 2, more than an episode 2 of season 3. I imagine a lot of what was in here was probably going to be in that original season finale, plus whatever they added to kind of continue the episode for the season. But I wonder if this is going to come back to bite us. Like, okay, we finished season 2 now, but now we have 6 episodes that are really season 3. What are your thoughts on that?
Right. Yeah, I mean, I really hope. Well, I guess my first question for you is: have they confirmed it's 8 episodes total, and they're not going to do
Yes.
10?
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
8
Yeah. So in that case,
episodes this season.
I'm worried they're going to condense too much into the rest of the season. If it, we're used to having 10 episodes per season. If they're going to condense that to 6 episodes, it's a little worrisome. The other thing I read today is that the showrunner confirmed that there's only going to be 4 seasons, which
Yep.
makes sense. Given the source material, it's not like Game of Thrones where it's this kind of
Mm.
ongoing thing, and there's tomes and tomes of material to adapt. So
Mm.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
I'm
they left out like a whole book of material in the original
right.
run of Game of Thrones. They just cut like tons of characters. They could have had it. It could still be going.
Right. Oh, 100%. Yeah, yeah. And whereas with this, it's a finite. There's finite source material. There's more to delve into for sure. Even stuff that we talked about last week with characters who we've only seen a glimpse of, and we don't really know what their motives are. But I guess it'll be interesting. It might be a little bit too condensed, but I guess we'll see.
Yeah, I am a little worried about that, but they actually had no writer's strike this time, unlike last season. So I'm sure they got to figure it out. But it makes stuff like the fish feed, which is the battle that they had where they killed the Lannister, and then they were celebrating it in this episode. You
Mhm.
know, probably thought that was going to get more of an adaptation than the 2 scenes it got. So there's probably going to be a lot of that with like some of these other battles where it's like, okay, yeah, this happened mostly off screen. They got to save money for the dragons also.
Oh yeah, 100%. And I think that Game of Thrones has always kind of done that. Like I
Yeah,
think I'm trying to remember if it was in the first season or second season of Game of Thrones. There was like a battle that they kind of just grazed over, and it was like,
where Tyrion got knocked out at the
yeah,
very
yep,
beginning
yep.
of it. Yeah, in the
It's
first
like,
season.
you're like ready for this epic battle, and it's like, oh, and then this main character whose perspective we've been following is knocked out, so we don't get to see
Yep.
any of it, and
Yeah,
which is
he's
fine.
not knocked out in the book. He has a lot to do in that battle, which is so funny
Right.
that they decided to go. Which whatever. I'd rather have the intrigue than the battles if I had to pick one.
Oh yeah, no, completely. Even though it's awesome seeing like characters like Damon, like they're just incredible fighters, and
Mhm.
you don't expect that because most of the show is dialogue based. And then once you get to see it, it's like, oh yeah, I forgot these characters have been training since they were like
Mhm.
children, and they're incredible fighters. And I mean, with an exception to Rhaenyra, she's
Yeah,
not
she
used to
wasn't
holding a
allowed.
sword.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, so that's a great. Let's start there with Damon's story. This episode, we catch up with him after the fish feed, celebrating with his men. They're like, "Hell yeah, we killed the Lannisters! Shit's going great." Then our boy Simon Strong comes with a huge bummer, with delivering that Jace has been killed, and Damon needs to go back to Rhaenyra. There, what'd you think of that?
I mean, the scene played out great. I mean, it's like even it's a perfect kind of metaphor for the war and that battle specifically, where it's like, yes, you won, but at what cost? You
Yep.
can't celebrate for too long because the war continues, and the losses they're great. And
Yeah.
what's what's his name? The naval leader.
Oh, yeah. So the great beard. You're talking about the sea snake.
Yeah, the sea snake. That's what.
Sorry, I
Yeah.
thought you were talking about the Stark guy. But yeah, the sea
Oh no,
snake.
yeah, yeah. The sea snake says it perfectly, where he goes, "If this is what victory looks like, I don't want to see another one." It's
Yeah.
just like,
That's
yeah,
one of the best quotes from the book. Like really sums it up.
yeah. And I was curious because you had mentioned that even last week, but what did you think of his delivery?
That guy so fucking good.
Yeah,
I think his name's Steve Toussaint, and yeah, he is so good. I can't wait. They're gonna make an animated series on his 9 voyages, how he got all the
oh
wealth
really?
that he got, and I think he's involved and going to be voicing him. That's going to be
Oh man,
awesome.
that's awesome. That's the first I've heard of that. But yeah, he's just incredible and just balances the right amount of like leadership but tenderness. Like you can't
Yeah.
just be fully like pouring your heart out. You're commanding this like army and commanding your men and playing that fatherly role, but also acknowledging that he hasn't been there for these men. And
Mhm.
yeah, he's great.
No, yeah, he was awesome. I loved the scene of the dragon seeds flying over the ships, like kind of just showing like, okay, this is how this battle was eventually won. The dragon seeds came in, helped clean everything up. Bela was able to, you know, run away. Um, and I just think that was great. I loved him looking for his father, like up and down the beach with sea smoke, and then eventually Alan getting the name Valerion. Oh, his brother did too, but it was more of a moment for Alan.
Yeah. Oh no, definitely. Yeah, and it was a powerful moment. I mean, it's all he's wanted his entire life, right? Is that like acknowledgement, and it's so poignant being on that beach with all these like bodies around and like this desolation after a long war, and it's just like, okay, yeah, that's the payoff. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I thought it was super great. I thought that sorry, I said Bela fled. Raina fled, not Bela. She was
Okay.
still there. And I just thought that scene with the 4 of them on the beach was really great. And you know, I think that watching Alan rise to being a Valerion and watching the sea snake finally find the heir that he's really always wanted. Like he
Mm.
wanted his son to become, the next great naval, leader,
Yeah.
but he was a dragon rider. And so he couldn't be that. Same with his granddaughter. When he tried to offer her to be his heir, she was like, I'm a Targaryen. Like, I'm dragon. What she said, I'm fire and blood, and you need someone who's, what is it, sea and salt, I believe. And
Right.
yeah, Alan really embodies that. So great scene for him and a great sequence there.
Oh yeah, completely.
Yeah. So, whew, this is tough. This is, from the gullet, we go to Rhaenyra seeing Jace's dead body and Emma Darcy. Holy shit, man.
Oh my god.
Give
Yeah.
them the Emmy. Like,
Seriously.
so fucking good. so much of the show rides on their back, and they
Mhm.
deliver every episode, but especially in this one.
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned it last week. We got a taste of that with a a very quick scene where Rhaenyra is like ripping up her dress and kind of realizing like I need to take ownership. I need to be more of a leader. And
Mm,
then in this episode, it's like, and I mentioned this last time. I was like, I want to see her as a character like rise up, become this leader, and grow,
mm,
confident. And yet it's like you think I thought that was going to happen, but then it's like, of course, the unexpected happens. Her own son dies, the her heir, and it's like, how can she have the confidence and the grace to be a leader when like she's looking at her son's dead body? I mean, it's so powerful. And I think they could have easily just played this scene out in a very straightforward way. I'm not sure how it's written in the books, but they could have easily just, she comes in, or they bring in the body, she cries, and it's just kind of, but like they do such a great job making it so like unexpected and poetic. She asks like, "What have you done?" She's like talking to him as if he's like
yeah.
he's dead, and it's like,
Oh
is she talking to
God.
him? Is she talking to someone else? Like and then she breaks down, and it's like, oh my god, this is this changes the whole board. And yeah, what an incredible performance! It must have been so fucking tolling to
Just so many takes. Yeah.
yeah, doing
Just
all
being
those
like so
takes.
distraught.
Yep, exactly. And I imagine like Emma Darcy was just so jealous of like Millie Alcock, who got like all the fun scenes as Rhaenyra. It's like she didn't
Yeah.
even get to like she didn't have to go through all of this like grief and stuff, and got like the fun like childhood scenes.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So I mean, yeah, just an amazing job. And Damon comes back, and Damon is a little bit like, are you gonna let them die for nothing? Or are you gonna like fucking, take this? And I liked that because Rhaenyra needed that. Because at this point, like it looks like Rhaenyra might just be like, I'm done with all
Yeah.
of this, but you can't let your sons die for nothing. You have to like go and get your birthright. And I just think that's a great like motivating factor for her character for the rest of this season and series.
Oh, completely. I mean, Damon really is like he's been this kind of like anti-hero throughout the entire show, but like and and it's understandable. He wants the throne too. I mean, it's we're not watching Game of Thrones, but the game for the throne is still happening in this
Yeah.
universe. And you know, him like pushing her to do this, it's significant because he could have easily just like backstabbed her, taken it. He knows like if he's not as heartbroken, he's in a better position now. But instead, he's like, all right, let's do this together. Like, let me encourage you, and you know, he encourages us to go to King's Landing. And I have a question for you, Brian. Do
Yes.
you think she would have gone to King's Landing if Jace hadn't died? Because to me, it reads as a very reckless move.
Mhm. That's a great question. She really did seem to believe Allison, and what Allison was saying. So I think it kind of was like the perfect confluence of events where like she's not going to be holding back anymore, and the rest of her council is a little bit like, oh fuck, this is not going great. We
Mhm.
need to get that throne as soon as possible. And the fact that Vagar was seen leaving, I think was like, okay, we're going, like this is our chance.
Mhm. Yeah, exactly. And to me, it's like I don't know. It's well, like you said, it's a perfect confluence of things, but it's also like tragic, and it's giving her the will to like go and be kind of YOLO, like, okay, what the hell, what do I even have to live for now that my heir has died, my son died, so let me just go into King's Landing, which is such a crazy move. And it could have easily not paid off. It's like if and I was nervous about that the whole time because you never know where the story's going to go. It's like
Yeah.
if something gets lost in translation, if someone doesn't get the right message, it's like, okay, all of a sudden the we get kind of like a Daenerys type situation where she's burning down the city, and like the
Mhm.
dragons are being attacked and stuff like that.
Yeah. Which certainly the small folk thought they were about to get killed. There's that nice scene of the dragons flying over and everybody freaking the fuck out because, yeah, they don't know what's
Right.
happening. Like, all
Oh,
of a
yeah.
sudden, there's a bunch of dragons that aren't usually here.
Yep. No, if I was in this universe and I saw a dragon for like a
Yeah.
second, I'd be, oh,
Yeah.
get the fuck out of
Exactly.
here.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, so that was, I thought it was great. I thought the, I guess, showing off of Damon's prowess was so cool. Like you already touched on, I thought that the choreography has gotten really good now. Like if you
Mhm.
will go back and watch like the first season of Game of Thrones, not that great. Like the battle between Ned and Jamie in the street of King's Landing,
Oh yeah.
not that impressive. It doesn't
Right.
look like we needed Jamie to be doing this, you know?
Completely. No, and I mean, it's been said that Jamie Lannister, before he lost his hand, was like one of the greatest fighters of all time, and especially in that universe. And like, yeah, it's it. I mean, even when I first watched it, I remember thinking like, oh, is that it? That was kind of underwhelming. Like,
Yeah.
it should have been a little more epic, especially given his, his notoriety. But yeah, but then we get Damon, and it, killing all these guys just so fluidly, and Rhaenyra really just like walking like shoulder to shoulder, like they're like they're in step with each other. It's like a dance, like
Yeah.
they're like one, entity just like walking through. And you have to keep in mind, this is like, it's very layered in the sense that like this is their home. I mean, yes, they've
Yeah.
been away, they've been fighting to get here, but it's like this is where they grew up. It must be such a weird thing to be like, I've been banned from here. I have to try to get back to here, and then you're finally
Yeah.
back, but you're also on your toes. It's like, who's gonna attack me? Who, I have to defend myself, and yet I'm home.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. So we get Allison telling the guard to stand down, and
mhm.
then we see some stragglers not wanting to do it. It gets back to the Master of Laws. We have this scene that was very uncomfortable to watch, where he tries to rape Allison. Not really sure how he thought this was going to go. Grandmaster Orwell comes in and is like, "What the fuck is happening in here?" Presumably, there's other guards near the queen. I don't know what this guy was thinking here.
No, I have no idea, unless we are misreading it, but I don't think we are. But like, yeah, that was. It's like, dude, aren't there like guards like outside of her door like 24/7? Like, how did you possibly think you could
Yeah.
get away with
The
this?
only
But
thing is she's like secure this area. Maybe the guards were securing the area, but like I don't know.
no, yeah, it's kind of ridiculous. But yeah, but luckily, last at the last second,
Yeah.
the maester comes in, and he's kind of a character who, I don't know. We'll see how much more he has to kind of like offer the story and kind of the, politically and everything. But he's not. He
Yeah.
hasn't been like a big character really. I would say until this. I mean, this moment was big for him. I mean, who knows what would have happened, But
Yeah, it's interesting because in the books, it's a history book, and there's like three sources of all of what's happening, and Grandmaster Orwell is one of the main sources of what's happening.
oh,
So for me, I'm like, oh yeah, he's a big character, but like yeah, like you said, he hasn't really done a ton yet.
right. I guess he's just more of like the observer, kind of history taker. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so I didn't like the scene. I think it could have been maybe even better if like he just found out that she told people to stand down and betrayed them and like hit her instead of trying to rape her. I think it gets the similar message across of this guy fucking sucks. But it did make it so that when he got his head cut off, it was like cool, good. You know?
Right, exactly. Yeah, and it was very satisfying. And to that point, I do think Game of Thrones can have a habit of kind of, and I'm not sure where this is from showrunners or George R. R. Martin, but there's kind of I would say a misuse of rape as like a story, driven
Yeah,
device. I think Sansa and Game of Thrones, that was a big one for me, where it was like I knew people who actually stopped watching when Sansa got raped, and it was just like,
it was a
yeah,
pretty
no, that
horrible
was
scene.
brutal.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was brutal, and also in some ways unnecessary. I mean, I know it makes her a stronger character and everything, but also the way they, you know, filmed it and produced it could have been more elegant, I guess you could say. But
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah. That was not actually in the book
Oh,
either, so that
okay,
like made a lot of people mad.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
what the fuck is this?
yeah. Right.
Also, Jamie like raping Cersei in the Sept over Tywin's body. Not in the book. They do have
Oh
sex,
God,
but it's consensual. So
right.
yeah, I don't know. The shows. just like to add this, which is weird. I don't know.
Fucking weird, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So from there, we see Helena kind of be like given an out from this whole thing, which
Mhm.
she's obviously very grateful for. She's not about this life of scheming or anything. She just wants to keep chickens, which I thought was, she's a very sweet girl.
Yeah, she's kind of one of the more like unexceptional characters, other than the fact that I think, she's kind of alluded to events in the Game of Thrones, like the universe overall. Like she has a gift in a sense, but at the same time, she's a little bit inconsequential, and it would be a shame if she was kind of caught in the crosshairs. So it's good that she's able to escape and hopefully have some chickens of her own.
Yeah. It's all we really want from the show is Helena to have her chickens. Rhaenyra to be on the throne, her to have the chickens. It's great.
Yeah,
Peace in the lands.
yeah,
But
that's
yeah,
like
no,
the Netflix like season finale version is like a slow motion shot of just dollying with like Rhaenyra getting on the throne. Everything's
yeah,
near, everything's merry, and yeah, her with her chickens, and just the happy ending. But of course, we do not get that.
yeah, no, probably not. So we'll talk to about her husband. I'm loving the Varys and Aegon subplot this season. Like it's
Mhm.
very funny, which I
Yeah,
think is important because Game of Thrones, the show was very funny at times. And this we're finding the little bit of comedy that there is in this otherwise very dark story with their escapades.
yeah, I know there's a great push and pull, and it's kind of. I think also I would, it's in the writing for sure, the humor and the kind of lightness which balances out the rest. But I think I would also owe it to the actor who's playing Aegon. Like I think he brings a certain kind of like, yeah, kind of a humor, which it's not like
Mhm.
obvious. It's not like he's trying to like get laughs, but at the same time he plays this character who's like genuine and kind of, yeah, he was born into this role. He's not like really fit to be king, and yet he's like
He,
trying
he
to
didn't
escape.
even want it. At the end of season one, he's literally just like, I'll leave. Like, I'll get on a ship and go. I don't want this.
And yet look where he is. He's like burned face, like escaping
Yeah.
for his life, like trying to kill people to get free. It's like this poor fucking guy.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought it was so great. They like peek out of the carriage that they're in. And Laris is like, huh, that Lannister was able to get the Triarchy. That's crazy. It's
Yeah,
like, I didn't see that coming, I guess.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And of course, these pirates are kind of like they're kind of bleeding off from like the main battle, right? Which
Yeah.
is great because I think it's realistic. Pirates, they don't have any real motive. If they see like an expensive carriage or something they can steal, it's like
Yeah.
okay, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, exactly. Um, but yeah, they're able to get away. And we kind of see Laris's, I guess, other side of things because for so much it seemed like, okay, this guy's team green. He's going to Allison and helping her scheme, and then he saves Aegon from dying. But he also locked Otto in a cell.
Right, right. Yeah, he's still one of those characters I'm really trying to figure out, and he kind of there's elements of other characters within the George R. R. Martin world, but I do like
Yeah.
that he's like wholly unique and kind of because it's been a motif, if you will, of kind of bastards and cripples and people who are kind of underprivileged in this world but have kind of climbed their way up to some like position of power, and that's kind of how he is. And but now, I mean, at this point, they're both pretty much at the bottom of the rung. They're fighting for their lives, so it'll be really interesting to see how he can kind of use his smarts to get through this.
Yeah, I mean, because we forget he's Jason Luke's uncle through his brother,
Mm.
out of wedlock with Rhaenyra. Not officially, but I don't know. He probably knew like those were his brother's kids.
Right, right. I've also seen online that the actor had a glow up, which is
I love
I'm
that.
happy for him. It's great.
Yeah. He's getting some time to shine. I mean, I love these characters. Someone on Twitter was like, George R. R. Martin creating Laris is like, what do I name somebody who's a combination of Littlefinger and Varys?
Yeah. Oh,
Hilarious.
completely.
um, but yeah, no, he's great, and he basically was like, okay, I'm trusting in Aegon, but also just in case you guys can have Otto, and then I'll be in good with you as well.
Right. Right.
And that leads to one of the more interesting scenes in this episode, where Rhaenyra has to behead Otto, and it's like a culmination of so much. Like after season one, where he was scheming so hard and
Mhm.
working against her, sometimes with her against Damon, but working against her after his grandchildren were born, to get to this moment where Rhaenyra has to kill him, and she has to do it herself. And of course, it's sloppy because like she's not a warrior.
No.
Um, but it's very interesting because like there's so much violence in this show that's just kind of like whatever, like yeah, of course. But then there's this moment where it's like it shows how messy murdering someone like that is, how messy war is in general, and how messy like the whole succession was here.
Oh yeah, and I mean, my bigger note is just that like so much of what makes like TV and movies boring for me is when when you expect what the character's going to do in dialogue and action. But I really think time and time again with this show, it does something clever with that it could have been straightforward. It could have been like, okay, they hand her the sword, she chops his head off, sits on the throne. But no, it's like each moment is really played out in like through her perspective, and it's such an interesting way that makes this, like I said earlier, like it's not a triumph. She wants to be the leader so bad and doesn't know that, like, okay, this is what like any male leader would do through instinct, is just act for the violence, chop off this man's head, who by the way is like kind of an uncle figure to her. She grew up with this, he was the hand to her father. Like it's not like they're close, but like they grew up together, and or she grew up with him, and she's staring him in the face. It's like, okay, now chop off his head. It's the right thing to do. And she fails because, yeah, like you said, she doesn't have any training. She's not like, not Damon, who has like, strength to do this. And yeah, again, Emma Darcy is just like incredible in that moment. And you feel like the pain and the snot. Oh my God, it's like, it's so good. And then you get this shot of like, the pool of blood. And like I said, any other like lesser show would just kind of like, okay, and then she walks to the throne and she wins, right? But it's like, no, she's walking through blood. She has to like face her decisions,
Tracking it like
tracking blood,
footsteps to the throne. It's so good.
and it's like shot in like a low shot, so you kind of see her reflection in the blood. It's kind of like reflecting, like, okay, this is the world we're really in, where like at least mentally, like it's not a pretty sight. It's not just a simple, hey, you won the war and now you're going to sit on the throne. It's like, no, she's going to have to face these decisions that are going to weigh on her.
Yeah,
And then
bloody path, like literally bloody path. So
yeah,
good.
And then her best friend walks in, and it's like just to make things even worse.
Yep. Yeah, so that's like the big future thing, like what's going to happen there. But then the other big one is Aemon going to Harrenhal, taking it over. And I would love, I'm sure someone has done it. If not, someone will. A side by side of Daemon going to Harrenhal
Mm-hmm.
and Aemon going to Harrenhal, because I feel like it was shot very similarly. Even that like shot where he's holding like the sword over his wrist. Like I'm pretty sure Daemon had the exact same shot in this.
Mm-hmm.
But whereas Daemon kind of worked with the Strongs, Aemon just kills them.
Yeah, and it really shows the difference between their characters, and what you kind of expect from Damon initially is like, he is this, you think he's going to be this Aemon type character, where it's like, okay, he comes in, he's just going to roll over everybody because he's privileged, and he's like, he thinks he has the right to do so. But it speaks so much actually to Damon's character through this scene with Aemon, where you see like what someone else in the same exact position with this a dragon walking into the same room would do. And yeah, it's amazing. I would love to see a side by side. And it's sad. I mean, I like that the the big man. I don't know his
Simon. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, he was so great. And yeah, it's so sad to see him see him perish along with his sons.
Yeah. I thought someone like just tweeted Diva down after he died, which I thought was so funny.
Man. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
so
we're all
sad.
gonna miss him. You know, he's a
Yeah,
good guy. He was trying to do his best to keep all his people alive through this war, and unfortunately, he thought he navigated one psycho, but he met a much bigger psycho in
yeah,
Eamon. But Eamon does get stabbed in the side, and he asks Alice Rivers to help him out, and Alice is recently scorned by Damon, so that's a big thing to keep an eye on for the rest of the show.
yeah. This will be really interesting, especially to see these both of these characters kind of both despicable. I mean, she's more of a mystery, but I think in a sense it's like this is like it's a really bad combo for for Rhaenyra and for like everybody else because like he's already such a bastard. He's such a not a literal bastard, but he's such like a despicable character, and then to kind of like for a witch to save his life and kind of for her to like pull the strings even further, it's going to be really interesting.
Yeah, no, I can't wait to see that. I did also see someone was like he lost a lot of aura when he got stabbed.
Oh,
After all that, where he's like doing all these cool sword moves, like killing people, and then he gets stabbed once, and he's like dying.
yeah, begging for his life, and
Yeah,
yeah, like oh my god, just I don't know, the physical acting was great. It's the way he can like stand up. He's like in this
yeah.
armor, it's like weighing him down. He's like bleeding. It's like
It's like slipping in his own blood. Like it's so good.
yeah, and like I honestly because I'm so used to like crappy TV, I was really expecting him just like okay, he got stabbed, but like he's okay. But
Yeah,
no, it
right.
makes sense. One stab like to the back, like in that spot, like you're gonna bleed profusely, and if there's no
Mhm.
one around, like yeah, you're bleeding to death.
Yeah, crazy, unexpected. Because, like
Yeah.
you said, I was like, oh, it probably like just hit his armor or something. But nope, he found the crack and hit it. And he did what he could. He died immediately after. Rip Simon Strong's son. Don't know his name off the top of my head, but
Yeah.
he did his best given the situation.
Yeah.
May as
Yeah.
well go down with a kidney shot than
right.
die.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think that's it for all of. Is there anything I missed that you can think of?
No, I don't think so. I mean, really, honestly, just incredible episode. The performances are so like vivid and just really top notch, and it'll be interesting to see how this season kind of is shaped by this. Like we said, it's supposed to be a series finale, so it'll be interesting to see. Like for example, with Eamon, is this story going to progress so soon? Whereas for me and mentally, I'm like, okay, yeah, he got stabbed. He's going to be like taken care of, but like I am prepared to wait like months to like see that come to
Yeah.
fruition. But it could happen as soon as.
I wonder if we might get a time jump a little bit of Rhaenyra being in King's Landing for a while and what issues have come up, and Aemon being able to heal.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. The other character I was kind of missing this season so far really is I think her name is Missaria. The
Mhm.
you know um, yeah, I don't know. I feel bad calling her like the whore,
The
but
Woman
she's
of the Night. Yeah.
yeah, woman of the night. Yeah, and I'm really curious because she's really kind of the opposite of Damon, where like she's teaching Rhaenyra how to rule like actually like a woman,
Yeah.
she's not. Whereas Damon and everyone else really is like, okay, this is how you do it. You got to act like a man because you're the leader. You're the queen now. But it's like okay, there is another way, and yeah, so I'm really curious to see how that'll shape up.
Yeah, I wonder if she'll get sent for. We'll have to see.
Mhm.
Um, Obviously, Damon isn't the biggest fan of her,
Right, they got
but
history.
they got a history. But we'll see. We'll see what happens there. I think that actress is really good.
Oh yeah.
Even make fun of the accents she does for the character, whatever. It's just trying to do something different. Like
Yeah,
it is what it is.
I've never really minded. I mean, I definitely noticed it, but I would say it's fine. It's to me, it's just like okay, this is like it's different. She's not royalty. She's not, and
Yeah.
yeah, she's so good in Ex Machina.
Yeah.
She has like no lines.
Great movie.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think one of the big things too is with these accents, like Pedro Pascal did his Dornish accent, like he was the first Dornish character from the book. There was nothing, he made up the accent, and now everybody who plays a Dornish character needs to do his accent. I think that
Study.
stuff like that's very fun.
Yeah, and I even heard, Sean Bean's Ned Stark. That was just kind of a thing where it's like, all right, we're casting him, obviously knowing like he's not going to even going to make it through the first season, and
Yeah,
yet like everybody's accents are going to basically
everyone has to be
be
like him. Yeah,
yeah, based
they
off
have
of
to
it.
like model, especially the Stark from last season, where
Yeah.
he gave huge like Ned vibes,
Right.
and Jon
Exactly.
Snow vibes because he was on the wall in this scene. But yeah,
Yeah.
very Stark, and yeah, like you said, everyone's modeling it off of Ned, which is so fun. Love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Sure.
But yeah, no, I thought this was an awesome episode. Again, I love the show. I feel like one of the few people who've read the books and also is like, yeah, the show rocks, but that's
Oh,
fine.
really?
I'll be that guy. I'm not going to be negative. I'm not going to spit in the face of HBO offering me awesome dragon battles and cool
Oh, yeah.
swords
Exactly.
fights.
No. Yeah. Appreciate it while you have it, guys, because
Yep.
yeah, who knows? The writing could go downhill, and then you're gonna really wish you've got
I
more of
was
season
literally
two.
thinking when Vagar went to Harrenhal and there's like a bunch of scenes of Vagar fucking shit up
Mhm.
there. Like, man, TV has come such a long way,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. For real. Yeah. And I love early Game of Thrones, really, but like, yeah, it's not. If it could have been this level of
Yeah.
money and production and everything, it would have been even crazier.
Yeah, people always point out the tournament in the first season versus the tournament in the first season of House of the Dragon to show how much
Oh
bigger
yeah.
the budget has gotten.
Yeah, or even the Hedge Knight. I mean, that like the yeah,
Yeah.
all of the jousts and that are like insane, and yeah.
And I'm sure HBO looks at the Hedge Knight like, all right, this is our cheap show compared to House of the Dragon.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Not a lot of CGI probably in Night of the Seven Kingdoms. And you know what? I love that we can get both types of stories here
Yeah.
in this, HBO Game of Thrones universe. So, anything else we want to talk about before you head on out of here?
No, nothing from me. Just follow us on What Could Get Everything, Better Radio.
Yes, please do put out a new video over there on We Could Get Everything. We have lots of videos coming out on Better Radio all the time. And make sure you subscribe to the Worth Fighting For podcast. Tamora and I co host it. We have a lot of fun. And if you like Pedro Pascal, he's on The Last of Us. So it's a good reason to watch.
Yep. Yep.
All right. Other than that, thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you in the next one.